I'm back. So, sorry for the long delay in videos. I know in the last video that I put out, I said I'd be doing all these other videos. But a lot has changed in my life for 2020. And it has not been easy. So just to give you guys a rundown on where I've been and what I'm doing, I've been busy with work. And I went through a divorce. That's right. And it wasn't my fault. The other problem is I also had to move out of my house that I remodeled simply because, well, I got a divorce. So a lot of things are just crazy and upside down and weird, and it is 2020, and now that the elections are over, I feel like I can start getting creative again. I have been busy, really busy, doing a few things for my other channel, basically showing you guys what a 50-year-old man-child looks like. That's all I can describe it as. It's just different. And having to move and change my environment and figure my entire life out and cut everything in half has just been really, really difficult. So anyway, I'm sorry that I have not been able to put out all the videos that you guys like. But now that the elections are over and I'm settled and things are coming back together and feeling more normal, hopefully I'll be able to get more on a standard process again, because life has not been easy. 2020 has been an absolute dumpster fire for me, and it's been tough. But the good thing is I've been extremely busy with work. The bad thing is I've been extremely busy with work. Now, the reason why I say the good and the bad is, well, obviously I need to make money to support myself and, you know, cover moving and doing all this different stuff. But at the same time, it has not been fun work. A lot of it's been commercial product, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's just been no models, no nothing, no shooting people. I'm back. I'm feeling a little bit more creative now. I feel like I can get things flowing again. So let's get flowing again so you don't have to listen to any more of my whining. But anyway, yeah, let's just dive in. So what do we got? Today I am going to talk about, this is Innovatronix, the CP550 flash, and it is really designed around cell phones. And it's the first light, I think, that's a high-powered light where they had cell phones in mind. And it does work with DSLRs, so you can use it both ways, but it is really actually pretty cool. Here's everything that it comes with. So it comes with a really well-written user's manual, and then it comes with a USB cable, 2 remotes. One is a single pin for the camera, so no, this does not do high-speed sync. And then you get a video light remote that you can use also as a camera remote with your cell phone. Now, both of these actually work with the cell phone. I prefer using this one. I believe this one has a watch battery in it. I'm really not sure. I have not taken it apart. But this one charges off of this USB port on the side, off of this cable. And then you have your head unit. And so on the head unit, you've got a 1/4-20 on the bottom, and then this U bracket that goes around and tightens really easy that also has a 1/4-20 on it. Now, on the back of this unit, these are your control buttons. So you can change your channels and your groups, and you can do a test to make sure that everything's working. And then you can turn the video light on and cycle through the different video light functions, but you cannot control the power of the head unit. That has to be done from the app. Now on the side here, you've got your battery port, which you can unscrew with coin and just take the 18650 out and use a battery charger with it, or you can use this USB port to charge the battery that's in it when it's in it. And this button just basically turns it on. Now, on the front of this unit, you also have these 4 screws that act as magnet holders for your gels. And these all stick together, which is kind of cool. So it comes with 5 gels and 1 diffuser. Really pretty clean. Now, as far as use goes, so under full power flashes, I think you're supposed to get about 100 out of this, or maybe it's 100 normal flashes. But usually I use this at about 50% power anyway. It does seem to hold up quite well and does not overheat or do anything like that. really pretty solid. As a video light, I believe you can get probably somewhere around an hour at 50% and maybe a little bit longer. But at full power, it seems like it drains down in about half an hour. Now, as far as light output goes, this is the equivalent of 550 watts at full strobe when this thing pops off. Now, to give you an idea, it basically has the same guide number as the Sony V350S flash, the smaller flash, which is more than enough, especially for doing cell phone work. I think it's actually pretty good. So the output is probably a guide number of somewhere around 39 to 40. As far as light goes, so this is the equivalent of a 30 watt SMD LED like par 38 bulb. So basically somewhere in the neighborhood of like a 100 watt light bulb. And if that kind of gives you an idea of what it is at full power, which again, for doing anything with your phone is actually more than enough. So, you know, using two of these, it's pretty much like the perfect light kit. I really dig it, and it seems to work pretty well. But anyway, let's go ahead and check this thing out and see how it works. So you can see the dip switch set up. Now, you can set one up as master and one as a slave. You download the app, and you can look for it by either Innovatronix or the CP550 flash. And so on this one, I'm using this on Android. And this is the latest iPhone from Samsung. Actually, this is the Samsung A71 5G. So anyway, in here you pull up the app, and then you go ahead and connect to your lights. And now we're connected. So from here, we can go to config, and then this will allow us to do tests. So you can see this is the light that I'm talking to right now. That's the master. So now I'm going to go ahead and set this one as slave 0. And you can see that that one's turning on with the light. So from here you can change your power, and then you can hit test all, and it'll show you just where we're at. And then you can say you want it to strobe, or you can use continuous on. And when you use continuous on, you can change the power of it down to whatever you want. And it actually, this app works amazingly well. I also tested this on the iPhone 11. I have not done it on the 12, but I've tested it on the iPhone 11. I'll show you that here in a second. But here's what it looks like when you use this device on a camera. It actually seems to work pretty good. So for this setup, I'm using the Sony a7R III with the Tamron 17 to 28 millimeter lens, and I'm using the hot shoe adapter trigger from Innovatronix on the top of the camera, and then a shutter release cable on the side, along with the light plugged into a Godox Bowens mount adapter that will allow you to use flashes with Bowens mounts. And it turns out that this CP550 flash fits in it perfectly. I'm using a green gel on the front and then a small red gel on the back. I should also mention that I'm using the app on my phone to control the power of the strobes, as there is no way to do it on the actual light itself. I call this my 2020 is almost over goddammit photo shoot. The cool thing about this is when you hit start camera, and this is on a Samsung, you get this floating app that's over your camera app. So that allows you to go in and just take a picture, and you can see that I'm getting full illumination off of what's going on here. And right now it's going off of the one light. So then from here you can go back to your lights. Let's hit exit. And then I've got continuous on still checked on that one. So we're just doing strobes. So let's start the camera again, and now I can test it again. You can see that both are going off, just completely blowing out. Now, when you use this, I highly recommend that it doesn't matter what app you're using, but use your camera in manual mode. We can go into Pro mode right here, and you can see that this is really dark. Now, this slider bar, if I turn it this way, you'll see is my millisecond timing. So when you adjust your shutter speed, you're going to have to adjust that to figure out what works. And then you can just play with it until you get the illumination that you want. Let's make it really long, really long. There we go. So now I know exactly where I need to be to make this thing fully illuminate. It's a little tricky. It's not exactly automatic. You can use it as an auto flash, but in manual mode, it seems like it gives you so much more control. So anyway, in Pro mode, I've got this now set to 250th of a second. And you can pretty much crank this all the way up to where you want it to be. I notice that with faster shutter speeds, that sync time needs to be much higher to get it to show up correctly. There we go. So now you can see I've got total illumination. Now I can go in and control the power of those and turn them down. So I can say my master, I want that to be at 18% power, and then my slave, let's turn that down to 5% power. So now I can do my shot here, and you'll see that now this image actually looks very normal. So it's really kind of nice to be able to actually do like professional lighting with the cell phone camera, because cell phone cameras are getting better. This is the A71, so this one has a 64 megapixel sensor in it. The only problem is, unfortunately on the Samsung, you cannot shoot RAW, which is kind of a bummer. So that doesn't really work worth a shit. But the nice thing about it is if you're in video mode, and let's say you wanted to control your lighting, you can turn that on. It automatically knows that you're in video mode when you go in here, so it just turns them on. And then you can hit record, and then you're recording, and this is basically the light output that I'm looking at. And unfortunately right now these are not diffused and they're really, really bright, so I'm not going to stand here for very long, but you can see what I'm saying. So it comes with this remote. So this is like a Bluetooth remote that works with the lights. And you can see that yeah, technically it works, you know, it's not super great, but it takes the picture. But this one, you actually charge via USB the same cables that you plug into the flash itself, which is this little guy right here. So this is easy to charge and easy to use, but I don't know if I like this remote that much. I think I prefer the camera remote. The cool thing about this one is you can turn the video lights on and you can turn them off. So, you know, that's a nice feature of this remote. But if you're doing photography, this is the camera remote. And to me, I think that this one's just that much more reliable. So it's very easy to just pop shots off. So if you want to do something like a selfie shot, it's very easy to do because now I can just hold it behind my back. I don't have to worry about it. So it seems to work really, really well. Okay, so on the iPhone, this is the configuration setup that you're looking at, and it's really strange. So from here, if you go to camera, then there's that thing that shows up, and then you have to wait for it to say that it's ready, and then you have to say trigger, and it works. It's not the greatest thing, but let me show you this. So from here, if I go ahead and set this in here, it's much better to do this hands-free. So with hands-free, we're going to use the camera trigger that we just used on the camera. And from here, and that's what we're getting. if we can get into manual camera mode on this, then we can turn the exposure down and really tweak it. But I just noticed that with the iPhone, it seems to work a lot better with this trigger than anything else. Now Heidi can go in and just take selfies.
I'm adjusting the master power to 80, let's go 85. And this is the slave light. Let's adjust that to 45. And then hit test all to test. And you go back to the camera app. Make that manual. Let's do 60th of a second and 20 ISO.
I can get no love.
Trigger it with the remote.
Cause with you it's trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Try to set you free. Yeah. Try to let it be. But with you it's trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Some say love is like sparks and dynamite. I just wanna lay low. What if we could try?
So this is just a couple possibilities with this light. You can make it really soft and then have a dynamic background, whatever you want to change. You can pretty much do whatever you want with it. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel for more information like this, and we'll talk to you guys later. And I swear you'll see me again real soon too, because things are starting to slow down as we get towards Christmas, so that means I'll have time to get back in the swing of things and start shooting. Anyway, you guys take it easy. See ya.